Keanu Reeves was just 60 seconds away from performing the most dangerous stunt of his career when his German Shepherd did something that stopped production dead in its tracks. The dog's frantic behavior seemed like a distraction until they realized he was actually saving everyone's life. In the cold morning air of Vancouver, everything was going according to plan at the massive Lionsgate Studios complex. The most critical scene of Neo's revenge was about to be filmed, and Keanu Reeves was preparing for the most dangerous stunt of his 25-year career. The platform, positioned 15 meters high, would create a perfect action sequence combined with special effects and coordinated camera movements. Set preparations had begun at 7:30 a.m. A 30-person technical crew was conducting final checks on the massive steel platform. The platform weighed 2 tons, made from special aviation-grade steel, and was mounted on 4 main support legs. Each leg was secured to the ground with anchor bolts drilled 3 meters deep. When Keanu Reeves arrived on set at 8:15 a.m., his usual companion Duke was by his side. The 7-year-old German Shepherd had been with Keanu on all his film projects since 2017. Duke wasn't just a pet, he was a certified therapy dog who provided moral support to the crew during stressful moments. "Good morning, Duke," said set assistant Maria Santos, petting the dog's head. Duke wagged his tail with his usual calm demeanor, but his eyes were different. He kept scanning the steel platform overhead, as if something that shouldn't be there was present. When costume fittings began at 9 a.m., Duke's behavior started attracting attention. The dog, who normally waited calmly during Keanu's costume changes, was restless this time. He kept standing up and sitting down, his ears constantly perked, sniffing the air with his nose. "Duke seems a bit strange today," said costume designer Jennifer Walsh. "It's like something's bothering him." Keanu shrugged. "Maybe it's the new set smells, big production, lots of equipment." But Duke's unease wasn't limited to just smells. Every time the dog approached the platform area, his fur would stand on end and he'd growl in low tones. This behavior was so unusual that animal trainer Robert Clark was called in. "Duke, come here, buddy," said Robert, trying to calm the dog. But Duke was resistant. The closer he was brought to the platform, the more agitated he became. The normally extremely obedient dog was ignoring his trainer's commands for the first time. At 9:45 a.m., Security Chief David Martinez intervened. "If the dog causes problems on set, we might need to remove him from the filming area," he said, following protocol. Keanu opposed this idea. "Duke never causes problems. He's worked with me on dozens of films for 6 years. He might just be having a bad day." At 10:15 a.m., when stunt coordinator Sarah Kim began final checks, Duke's behavior reached critical levels. The dog started walking in circles around one of the platform legs. He kept pressing his nose to the metal surface, taking deep breaths. "It's like he's smelling something," observed veterinarian Dr. Lisa Chen. "But metal doesn't have a smell." Platform engineer Tom Bradley was also watching the situation. "Maybe he's sensing metal stress," he said. "Dogs have much more sensitive senses than we do." Just then, Duke struck one of the platform legs with his paw. A metallic ting sound emerged. After this sound, the dog became even more excited, as if he had found the answer he was looking for. "There's something there," thought Tom Bradley. But visually, everything looked normal. Weld marks were clean, bolts tight, no visible deformation anywhere. At 10:30 a.m., Keanu began putting on his stunt costume. The specially designed harness system was adjusted to make the 15-meter fall safe. Every detail was calculated: fall angle, landing point, camera angles. Meanwhile, Duke was circling under the platform, constantly staying around the same metal leg. The dog's behavior was so persistent that crew members started recording the situation. "His insistence is interesting," said animal behaviorist Dr. Rebecca Foster, who was called to assess the situation over the phone. "Dogs can behave this way when they sense danger. Sound, vibration, or electromagnetic changes can alert them." At 11:30 a.m., when final safety checks began, Duke was in an uncontrollable state. The dog was trying to keep everyone away from the platform area, first gently, then more determinedly. When Keanu walked toward the platform stairs, Duke's reaction exploded. The dog wrapped around his owner's legs and literally began acting as an anchor. He wouldn't let Keanu get close to the platform under any circumstances. "Duke, what are you doing?" said Keanu, bewildered. He had never seen the dog behave like this. There was panic in Duke's eyes, as if he was seeing something terrifying. Director Marcus Chen was getting impatient. "Keanu, control your dog. Our schedule is getting delayed." But Duke persisted, trying to keep Keanu away from the platform. The dog was so determined that he was actually preventing the 200-pound Keanu Reeves from moving. "Wait a minute," said Security Chief David Martinez, starting to take the situation seriously. "This dog hasn't caused problems for 6 years. Maybe there's a reason." At 11:45 a.m., the production crew decided to take Duke's behavior seriously. Platform engineer Tom Bradley began examining the metal leg that the dog kept pointing to in detail. At first glance, everything looked normal, but Duke wouldn't give up. The dog kept hitting a specific point on the metal leg with his paws, constantly trying to draw attention to that area. "Let's take a closer look," said Tom, illuminating the area with a professional flashlight. He couldn't see any abnormalities on the metal surface, but due to Duke's insistence, he decided to use a magnifying glass. And that's when he saw it. At the main connection point of the metal leg, there was a thin line barely visible to the naked eye. At first, it looked like just a scratch, but upon closer inspection, it became clear that this line was actually a crack. "Oh my God!" whispered Tom Bradley. His hands began to tremble. "This is a crack, and it's expanding." A structural engineer was urgently called. Dr. James Morrison was an experienced engineer with 20 years of experience and an expert in structural failures. His examination around the platform revealed the horrifying truth. "This crack is at a critical point," said Dr. Morrison, his face white as a sheet. "It's formed at the main load-bearing weld point. If additional load is placed on the platform..." He couldn't finish his sentence. The calculations were horrifying. Dr. Morrison's emergency calculations were shocking. The crack had reduced the platform's total load capacity by 70%. The platform that normally could carry 500 kilograms of load now had only 150 kilograms capacity. Keanu's own weight is 84 kilograms with harness and safety equipment. "It's 95 kilograms, said Dr. Morrison, entering numbers into his calculator. But the dynamic load factor during the stunt, the calculations were terrifying. When Keanu jumped from 15 meters high, the dynamic load on the platform at landing would reach 300 kilograms. This was at the upper limit of stress tests, even for an uncracked platform. "A cracked platform can't handle this load," said Dr. Morrison definitively. "The platform will collapse the moment Keanu's feet touch the ground." Security Chief David Martinez understood the severity of the situation. "What about the crew working underneath?" Dr. Morrison's answer froze everyone. A 15-meter fall and collapsing metal pieces, it would be fatal for the 30-person crew under the platform as well. The set area was immediately evacuated. The metal leg that Duke kept pointing to was supported with special equipment, and the platform was safely dismantled. Laboratory analysis of the removed metal parts showed how critical the crack was. "This crack stems from metal fatigue," said materials expert Dr. Sarah Rodriguez. The constant mounting and dismounting of the platform created micro cracks at the weld point, and today it reached the critical threshold. Veterinarian Dr. Lisa Chen analyzed Duke's behavior. Dogs can hear sounds up to 20 kilohertz. Duke must have heard the metal stress sounds, the ping sounds made when the crack expanded, that humans couldn't hear. Additionally, added Dr. Chen, dogs' vibration perception is much more developed than ours. Duke must have felt the platform's micro-vibrations and understood that this meant danger, trying to protect Keanu, who is the pack leader. Animal behaviorist Dr. Rebecca Foster elaborated on Duke's behavior. The behavior Duke displayed is very similar to the behavior animals show before earthquakes. It's not a sixth sense, but super-developed senses. That day, filming was completely canceled. The platform was completely redesigned and safety protocols were radically changed. Duke's behavior led to the creation of a new safety standard in Hollywood. Keanu knelt beside Duke and hugged his dog for a long time. "You didn't just save my life, buddy, you saved 30 people's lives," he said, his eyes watering. Duke wagged his tail and finally relaxed. His mission was complete. The danger had been eliminated. Set medic Dr. James Park summarized the situation. "If Duke hadn't warned us and Keanu had performed the stunt, the platform collapse would have been a disaster not just for Keanu, but for the entire crew working underneath. This dog literally saved 31 lives." Production company Lionsgate created a special security consultant title for Duke. The dog would officially be part of the security team for all future shoots. When the story leaked to the media, it created a worldwide sensation. Duke began to be known as Hollywood's four-legged hero. The hashtag #Duke the Hero became a trending topic on social media. Keanu Reeves, in one of his rare interviews, said, "People constantly call me a hero, but the real hero is Duke. He protected not just me, but everyone on set, and he did it without expecting anything in return." Animal behaviorist associations made Duke's behavior a case study. Dr. Rebecca Foster. "This incident will make an important contribution to scientific literature about animals' danger perception. The behavior Duke displayed is a perfect example of how developed animal intelligence is." Security experts also addressed the topic. David Martinez, "After this incident, we're seriously considering having animal behavior specialists present on major productions. Animals can sense dangers that we can't detect." When filming resumed a week later, Duke was in his usual place, beside Keanu, but this time as an official security officer. The dog's steel collar now had a special security badge. When Neo's revenge was completed, the credits included a special note. "This film is dedicated to the four-legged hero who ensured everyone's safety on set. Duke, the guardian angel." Keanu Reeves kept Duke by his side, always from that day forward. Not just a dog, but a real lifesaver and the most reliable business partner. At the film premiere, Duke walked the red carpet and met with intense media attention. But for the dog, none of this mattered. He was just happy that he had protected the people he loved, because real heroism isn't done for recognition. It's done to protect those you love. And Duke understood this perfectly. Today, 4 years later, Duke is still by Keanu's side, on every set, in every project, as a silent guardian, and Keanu never forgets what he owes him. "Duke gave me my life," says Keanu, "and I will give him the rest of mine."